So, what do you have to do to solve? Shh. You have to add 5 to both sides, right? Get m by itself. So what do you end up with? M. These cancel. What's 12 plus 5? 17. Well, the difference between the old stuff that we know how to do and today's we're going to have an inequality in there. Instead of an equals, we're going to have a greater than, a less than, or could be a greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. But it's going to be some sort of an inequality. But guess what? You still do it the same way. You still get the letter by itself. You still get rid of a -5 with a +5 plus 5. So how would I solve this one then? You have to get all the x's together. How do you get all the x's together? I think I would minus 4x minus 4x. Is that what you would do? 6x take away 4x? 2x, I've got a -3. And these cancel. Now, all the x's are together, so I have to get rid of what's with it. +3 plus 3, and I get 2x. That goes away. And a 10. What's my last step? Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So I get x is less than or equal to 5. So you're like, if this is just exactly like equations, why do we have to spend a day on it? Yes, ma'am? How is? Well, remember what we're looking for. This is our original. We want some m value that we can subtract 5 from, and it would be greater than 12. I would appreciate it if we stay in our seats while I'm doing my show. You can leave your seats at intermission. So, Addison, any m that I pick bigger than 17, when I put it in here, give me a value that's bigger than 17. 20. What's 20 take away 5? Is it bigger than 12? Yes, so it works. Anything that you pick bigger than 17 will work in this. Does that make sense? So, if it's exactly like doing equations, why do we have to spend another day on it? Well, there's one little catch. One little thing that's different. As you are solving it, if you multiply by a negative or divide both sides by a negative, you have to flip the inequality over. For instance, how do you get this x by itself? Divide both sides by -2. Since we are dividing both sides by a negative, what do you get here? Since we divided both sides by negative, you flip the inequality. So put the little side that way instead. Does that make sense? If you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the inequality over. So if I have x over is equal to, how about 7? Bless you. What do you do to both sides to get rid of a divide by -4? You times by -4. And when you do that, multiply both sides by -4, what do you get? Here it cancels, you just have x. What do you get here? -28, and since we multiplied by -4, we're going to flip our inequality the opposite direction. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Bickle?
Yeah.
What are you mumbling over there? Make sense? How about questions so far? How about questions so far? Anybody with questions so far? Anybody with questions so far? So what do I do right here to both sides? Divide by 3. Divide by 3, divide by 3. This cancels. What's negative 21 divided by 3? Do I have to flip the sign?
No.
What did I divide by? Positive and positive. So you do not flip the sign. Some people think that if your answer is negative, you flip it. But no, it's whatever you divide by. If that's negative, you flip it. It doesn't matter if your answer comes out to be negative. Don't care. So this one, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses first, but you can't combine those because they're not like terms. What comes after parentheses? We don't have any exponents, right? So then what? Multiply. So we are going to leave this alone, and on the other side, what's 4 times x? And then move over, what's 4 times 2? Now we have to get all the x's together. Minus 4x, minus 4x. What do you get here? 4x, take away 4x. 4x, take away 4x. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The letter dropped out. Remember when we were doing equations? Sometimes the letter drops out. What you have left is either true or false.
True.
0 less than 8. True, right? And remember, we're looking for a value of x that we can plug in here to make this thing true. Just like we picked 20 and plugged it in here, and it was true. We are looking for a value of x that will make 0 less than 8. Well, guess what? 0 is always less than 8, right? No matter what value we pick for x, 0 is going to be less than 8. Do you remember what your answer is then? Close. All real numbers. Any value you pick for x, 0 is always less than 8. It doesn't matter what you pick, right? So if this thing is true, then it's all real numbers. Now, let's say I worked it all out, I did another problem, and I get the opposite thing. 0 greater than 8. Is 0 greater than 8? No, that's false. I want an x value. Give me an x value that will make 0 greater than 8. Give me a value. What can I plug in here that will give me 0 is greater than 8? 0 is never going to be greater than 8, right? So what's your answer here? No. Solution. So if the variable drops out, what you have left is either going to be true or false. If it's true, then all real numbers. If it's false, then there's no solution. Anybody with questions so far? I got one more. Oh, doesn't that look like fun? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses. Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in Florida. How was it?
No.
You said you were in Florida.
Andon. Not eight.
I mean, Andon. I mean, Aiden. Oh, Andon's in Florida.
Yeah.
I thought you meant this one was in Florida.
No.
Got it. I thought you meant the other one, not on the appointment. Well, you made it just in time. The only rule is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you gotta flip the inequality. Got it? So we're just about to, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses. Can I do this? Or this? No. Next comes exponents. Don't have any. Next comes, what do you get? 2W plus 9. Look at the colors are mixing. Mystery doesn't like that. What do you get? 12 minus 4. Now I got some like terms. I think I can combine some like terms. Right here I have these. 2W. I borrowed 16, I paid you 9 back.
-7.
Still owe you 7. On the other side, I only have that W, one of those, but I have a 12 minus 4 plus 8. So, got all the like terms together. Now I have to get all the letter to one side. There's 2 things you can do, depending on if you're a positive or a negative person. See, I'm a positive person. I'm going to add 3W to both sides. What would you do if you're a negative person? Subtract 2W. Yes. So 2W, 3W, 5W minus 7. This goes away. You just have an 8. Now what? I have all the W's together. Add 7 to get rid of that. 5W greater than or equal to 15. Oh, look at that. Do I have to flip the sign? No, I'm dividing by a positive number, so I don't need to flip it. So what do I get? W greater than or equal to 3. And I'll put a flower around it. It's more fun that way. Right? That's all I have for you. Easy, right? Easy? Easy? Do you have questions? Are there any questions? Does anyone have a question? 466 and 467. I have number 11 to 66. JK. LOL. 11 to 30. 11 to 66 if you were sleeping while I was teaching.